Let's give a big New Life Church welcome to Nicky Cruz.
Thank you. You might be seated. I'm going to go a different way. Thank you for my handkerchief. If I were you, I would never touch this. I blow my nose 2 times on this. Be spiritual. Mike and Bonnie, love you guys. You got a great, great pastor. I know that. And I know that Bonnie met Mike in nighttime. Yeah, he's always hit low on me. It's all right. Estoy contento de estar con ustedes. Todos vamos a hablar español en el cielo. Por eso Mike está tratando de hablar español y todavía tiene el acento ese. I don't want to translate that. You know, I did it in the beginning. I tell you, there's so many places you feel comfortable. Times Square in New York, Brooklyn Tabernacle in Similar. Those are the places that I go, and Christ Tabernacle. But you know, I felt something that I must tell you, because I've been all over. I have preached in all kinds of places, churches, from Mormons to Seventh-day Adventists, and I have that privilege to be in places like New York with Dr. Bisenpil. But there's nothing compared with the heart of this congregation and the easiness of the Holy Spirit. And when you start walking from Mike's office, and I say Mike with all respect as a friend, you can feel the presence of Jesus Christ. You make it easy for myself. Because there's something that we desperately need, and that is that this is a beautiful crowd. You look like a Christmas tree. You know, I don't want to speak the same message that I spoke in this the first service. Maybe because I don't like it, or maybe because I get bored with myself. But I'm going to talk to you about something sensitive, and I want you to listen very carefully. I'm going to talk to you, where were you when I was hurting? I'm going to repeat that again. Where were you when I was hurting? It seems that those words have so much meaning, tremendous meaning. Because if I say right now, when was the time that you hurt the most? You got a good recollections of thoughts. And because there's feelings involved. I want to tell you that life is not easy and sometimes unfair. You know that. There's so many questions about life. Why did this thing happen to me? Why it had to be me? Then we question God. God doesn't love me anymore. And you began to go into your mind, and you began to go deeper and say, God don't answer my prayer. And when you say that, because something within you is hurting. Something that you want to tell somebody, and yet sometimes you're afraid. And you want to ask those questions to those close to you. Sometimes we are afraid to tell our wife how we feel. I don't tell my wife everything that happened in my office. I don't tell her about all these things and books and all of that. Sometimes I just give her the script and she read it. I have written 17 books. But the thing is that if you notice every time I preach, there's something that I always identify in the books, either in this preaching, it's about loneliness. How lonely people are feeling today. How much separation there is into the business of the working places of our, either in the areas of our marriage. You know something? In this life, we are not promised life without trial, testing, and suffering. But we are promised that God, He want to be walking with us during those times of difficulty. He will be there. I know He will. Let me be more personal. Let me talk about my spiritual father. Dave Wilkerson is with Jesus. He died in Texas. He should not be driving. I said goodbye to him before I went overseas because he moved to Denver, but then the snow was too much. He don't like cold places. Me, you can see my hair, the snow have fallen upon my head. So I'm acquainted with this. But David suffered. The way that he died like the old prophets in a terrible ways. Then his wife, Gwen. I was shocked when David never do this because he's private. He came to me and he showed me the record of his wife. I said, Nicky, I want you to look at this. 17 major operation. Fought cancer after cancer. And here Dave died in a collision. His body was found far away. His wife was still alive and every bone was hurting. And yet, if you met Gwen, she was the most beautiful, smiling, like she never have touched pain in her life. She never was longing for the pulpit. Sometimes Dave has asked me to come and tell Gwen to come and pray for her. When I see all these things, when I see his son, Gary Wilkerson, David Wilkerson, grandson, not too long ago died of cancer, young kid. David himself, he was embracing his own granddaughter in New York when she died, very like a teenager, holding her head. If you're talking about experiencing things in life, that is not easy. My brother Frank, a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, a blessing in the family, a doctor, open a center for drug addicts, to be kidnapped and to be killed, and to be put in the trunk of his car that was stolen, and taken all over Puerto Rico, then found him 24 hours later. And you know Puerto Rico is very hot. How did you think I took it? How do you think I had to face the media? Because they knew me. How did the front page? Because it was something big in Puerto Rico. You know what? I suffered when I was a little boy. I can talk to you about it. I suffer. I suffer rejection. I suffer being unwanted, struck by the brutality of loneliness. And then these are human beings. King David. I don't want to go into detail with King David. But David was in an awkward situation. He committed sin that followed him. He was in this palace, but he wasn't at home. You can have the best and the most beautiful house, but that don't mean that that's a home. And here he felt how cold it is when you sin. How cold it is when you are separate from the arms of Christ. How a child feels when he just put out from the breath of her mother. All these things that is happening for a reason. And yet here is King David crying out with anxiety and despair. He felt, look at this, he felt abandoned. He felt hopeless or helpless. He felt ignored by God. He lost so much weight. He could not eat just because his sin was in front of him. How many times King David, dreaming in his own ways, we love to go back to be a shepherd, back there with the sheep, fighting the lions and the bears. No fear whatsoever in his life. But yet, right here, he came down by a misery of a mistake. And there, he was wishing, I wish I can be in the open field, where I can talk to him, where I can see the stars, the moon. How I wish to be there, because in that place, I used to feel the presence of the Lord. How I would love to be there with my dad and my brothers and my mom. Remember those cold days where the wind used to come through the cracks of the doors. And here his father lay right in front, and there his mom, and there his brothers, and there he was, a little kid. And now he's in the palace. And now he wished to be in that little place, in that little house, when he felt love, when he felt that there was a family, when he felt secure. But now there is in a palace, he's trapped. And he had to cry now, I'm pleased with God, please, please, please. One thing don't do. Don't take your Holy Spirit away from my life. Because that's the only life that's still pounding my bones. And here we all go through all of this, and we try to say, well, why? And there is something that he said in Psalm 25, verse 16 to 18. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. The trouble of my heart have multiplied. Free me from my anguish. Look upon my afflictions and my distress, and take away all my sins. It is what makes us unhappy. There are things that we are afraid. Being unwanted and being lonely. The Western dictionary say that loneliness means to feel as isolated, without companion, a feeling of desolation. And this has happened to my sweet Jesus of the Bible. And I never knew who he was. To come to experience him in a personal level. And the most desperate cry from the entire Bible came from Jesus Christ himself. He showed how human he was, and how long alone he felt. And yet here is another cry out. And there is Jesus in Matthew chapter 27, 46. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out so loud with his voice. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is mean, my God, why have you forsaken me? You talking about pain? You talking about the Son of God? If you're talking about somebody dear to God, he's watching his son crying out. How many of you have cried out when you feel alone, when you feel rejected, abandoned, when you have been afflicted by sickness and all of these things? I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. Had nothing to do with my testimony. But this is a valley. And we had to go through that. We got to go through that. But the greatest thing is to be aware that God is with you. That he's there pulling for you. This is unique power of Christian. I'm going to quote from my own writing. God knows personally and intimately. Other religion might affirm God as a creator of an ultimate rule of the world. But the God of the Bible is personal. He knows us better than either ourselves. Even though we might feel abandoned, the fact is that he never going to forget us. He's going to go with us through every situation in our life. And let me tell you, he's very conscious of your grief and your sorrow. He do care. He do care. And when you look and you read in the book of, example, the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, 36 to 38, this is the way it describes. Some face years and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were put to death by stone. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskin and goatskin, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The word was not worthy of them. They wandered in the deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes in the ground. And there we complain so much about it. You have not suffered a little thing. Let me just sum it up and finish. And I had to go to experience this. We had to deal with an old lady and a young man. I never understood because I was running wild in the street of New York. I was so full of hatred. And I was good as a leader. And I dare life. I care less about dying. I make the code of ethics to give everything from my gangs. That was my family. They will protect me, and I will lay my life in a second for them. There was no time of retreat. Yes, the experience of holding the head of my best friend on my arms with so many holes on his chest. And I watched him die, and I was just 17, he was 16. I watched him die, and I wish I could cry, and I wish I could drop some tears on his face so he understand that I got some feeling that he was close with my friend. I never told him nothing. I never told him I love him. Even when he was trying to talk about how his mother committed suicide, burned herself in the rooftop in the barrio, and she never said goodbye to Manny. She never kissed him. And here we are in a park getting stoned, getting high. He tried to come with all this story, and I had to put my hands on his mouth. Shut up. I don't want to listen to whatever you want to say. Don't. You are a man and you're not supposed to cry. This is hasta la muerte, unto death. There's no time for retreat. We're all going to get killed. But yet, I wasn't aware of his feelings because I cared less, because I was wounded and I was a little boy, full of hate toward my mother, the abuse that she did, not sexually but physically. The time that I wake up in a pool of blood, my eyes closed because the beater that she gave me, my ribs too from my left side, my nose broken, my lips split, dragged me, my naked little body, into this room that I remember that I can smell my own blood. I hate her. And that hate followed me like a shadow. And that hate was strong that when I was 9 years old, I swear, when I tried to hang myself from a mango tree in Puerto Rico, when I put that rope around my neck, ready to just settle all the way down. And here to hear my brother, which is 9 right now on cancer, and screaming, don't do it. And to take my little hands and just dry my tears. And I hugged him and I told him I will never cry again and I will never love again. And here I am holding the head of my best friend, and I wish I can really show that I have feelings, and I wish I could cry and drop those tears on his face. But my well was dry. And here I'm experiencing something that I never thought in my life. Here he was a young kid. Here is a wall. And on the other side there was an old lady, about 82 or 84. Something strange was taking place in that little room. Every time I used to come about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I used to hear the same thing at the same hour, the moaning and groaning. And I remember that I used to hit that wall, and I used to scream at her, and I used to curse her, and I told her to shut up. I don't want to hear what I was listening. And here I came out and went into the hall and started pounding the door of the little room, and she stopped. I cursed her. Why? To find out that when I got converted and I gave my life to Jesus Christ, and I was all over New York, all over the news, that how my gang, there was a revival like never happened in New York. The churches used to close their doors, lock their door, because they was afraid from the gang to come in and just take over. I took a skinny preacher to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you saw Wilkerson, he wasn't a big muscle guy. He was so skinny like a spaghetti. Skinny. I'm serious. And he had those thick belly glasses. I don't know why did God found in this guy. That you tried to psych him out, you couldn't. His side was going up and down every side. You get dizzy watching somebody like that. Well, I went and I got converted in front of 2,000 people, in front of 12 different gangs' enemies, in front of my gang, in front of my girlfriend. Don't laugh. I'm not funny. But I didn't know how to cry, and I was crying. I was being touched by something that I didn't see, but I can feel. Something that's going to revolutionize my life, and I didn't know. I was just 19 years old. Sorry wasn't enough. I could not say sorry. I cry now, and I told him, I'm so messed up. Forgive me, please. Then I became Mr. Please, please, please help me. And he did it. And he changed me. But this lady, if you thought I forgot, I'm not. Mary, her name is Mary. Yes, I still have a picture of her, Mary. One day we three of my friends, we break in and we were searching for money, and I found out, right, she got some about $280 under the mattress, wrapped up in a handkerchief, and then I took that money. But look at this. I started looking at a little room, and I took this picture that was fading away, and I took it in my hands. And there is this tall guy with a hat and two boys, one beside him and the other beside him. I took it and I felt, what is this? I put it back, and now I'm converted. I'm in Bible school. I'm aware of her. People used to send money from all over the United States. Christians, because I came in the Christian magazines and all of these things. So I used to give it to the principal of the school. And then when I went to New York to work with Dave Wilkerson for just 3 months, I took my money. I want to see Mary. And one, you can ask Gloria, because I took Gloria, but it was too late. Rewind. I got $280. That money belonged to her. She was still living in the same place. I knocked the door, and I called her name. Mary, open up. Open up. Mary, up and up. Bam, bam, bam. I say, open up. She said, no, you are a bad, bad boy. I said, no, Mary. I changed, Mary. I changed. Open up that door. I started screaming. I'm sorry, but that is the truth. And this time I got upset. If you don't open this door, I'm going to break this door, and you got to listen what I'm going to have to say to you. Do you understand? You have to live in New York to experience this. You have so many change on the door. And she had 5 change and a bar. I'm serious. And I hear this chum 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 ching 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 chum 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 and rock. I said, Mary, I got this for you. You know what she told me? I don't want it. Don't get mean to me. You get this money because I stole this money. And when you were talking to the 2 policemen that came, that you complained, I was there and I was telling you, tell them I did it. Tell the police I did it. I'm serious. Go ahead, tell them. She didn't. So I asked her, why you didn't turn me in when I told you that I did it? And this is what she told me. Regardless how bad you are, if somebody tries to hurt me, I know you will protect me. Look at this. You will protect me. Then as I walk in and I said, Mary, what about this picture? Why did you walk crying so hard every morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you disturb me? Why you were mourning and groaning and crying? So you see this? This is my husband. This is my 2 children. They got gas. She was a Jewish lady, and I never knew until I saw the number. And I didn't know until I knew the Bible. She have carried on all this pain for years and years. That pain became a hate and a sickness that she could not get it out. She used to talk by herself. She used to walk down the street, and I know it was Mary walking and here. I mean, I didn't care how she felt, and now I began to see how much pain there is there. And I offered a prayer. She didn't want me to pray in the name of Jesus, so I had to pray in the name of the Messiah. I tricked her. My name is Talker, not Soccer. But I tell you one thing. Can you put it together? It was a wall that separated us, a young from the old. Both we were hurting. Both we were longing for something in our life. I don't know how you feel, but I thank God that I released my hate and I was kissed with a kiss from heaven of forgiveness. My heart was healed. Jesus healed my heart. And 2 years later, I went home to see my mother. My mother was practicing witchcraft. That was her life. And my father was a satanic priest. And I walked into the mouth of the lion. But in this time, I wasn't alone. This time, I have a power bigger than the power that she had. And this time, I came with a spirit of forgiveness. And my mother, like I said this morning, was a package of bones. She was ready to die. She could hardly open her eyes. She didn't recognize me in the beginning until my brother told her, Nicky is here. Oh, my Nicky is here. I tried to embrace her, but I couldn't. I could not kiss her. So I went to the other room and I took a shower and I left that place and I came back and I invited the Christians in the Pentecostal church. I'm the son of Don Cruz. And the people went, ooh. He was a very strong man. In witchcraft, he was known by the power of Satan in him. I want you to come to my house and pray for my mother. She's dying. And my father. And you know what happened? An old lady, nothing against you. I mean, because she came speaking in tongues and came around me and faced me right in my face. She had bad breath. A long dress, white. What you call a monio? A bun on her head. No lipstick, no perfume. My Lord, help me. To tell me no. No. We are not going to that place. That man, Don Cruz, he's demon possessed. That woman, Doña Aleja Velázquez Cruz, she's demon possessed. I'm like this, and she's on my face. Those children, they are demon possessed. So then I'm demon possessed too. And that dog, I didn't know about the lousy dog. That dog is demon possessed. Everybody was possessed. And I told her, listen, where's the pastor here? That's the only best way. When you have anything, ask for Pastor Mike and Bonnie. Where is the pastor? He stood up. I'm the pastor. Sir, because now I know the Bible. Yes or no? Are you coming to my house, my father's house? The pastor say, yes, we're going to be there. No, not yet. And he got guts. And you, get away from him. You're going to be in discipline. In this church, you're not going to talk anymore. For 6 months. For 6 months, you are not talking anymore. Sit down. Good. Good. We need to sit those people. Where they came. The next day. And I bought a dress for my mother when she died. My sister helped me to put lipstick, and I messed up her mouth, her lips. I took it, took it and give it a bath. I put that clothes. I took it in my arms and lay her flat on this sofa. And I say, now I'm looking for the family of the Lord. 1 hour had passed by, no sign of nothing. I say, oh, in the gang, you don't do that. They betrayed me. They told me they're going to come. And here what happened. Let me tell you something, Mike, because you have a lot of Spanish-speaking people here. Is Jesus Christ going to come at 8 o'clock, tell you people that Jesus is coming 7 o'clock so everybody can make it to heaven? Chunga. Now I'm jitterbugging. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing in this life that can make a son so happy. An hour and a half late, I heard the sound of music. The sounds of guitar, dozens of guitars. All kinds of weirdo, we call them. And here is la maraca. And here is the trumpet. And here is a caravan of Christian people. Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, disciple of Christ, Catholics. They want to come and see what is going to take place in the Cruz, the witch's house. They used to call them that. And then they came in, and then there was more than 200. And this lady, blessed her soul, she brought a can of oil, and she went around the house with oil, and speaking in a language that I didn't know. Then she came into the house and put oil all over. She wasn't afraid of my father. And that night, the Lord our God did a miracle that will resound every day on my ear, and will stay in the castle of my memories. And I tell you this, that was the greatest moments of my life, the greatest moments of healing. The pain that I was going through, I could not go on or preach or write a book or either be in front of you without forgiveness. I must forgive my mother. I must forgive her. And that night, it happened. It was hard. And the pastor asked me to say a few words, and I thought I was strong. From Bible school, you want to just break walls. You want to be like Elijah. And then when I said yes, and I turned my head and I looked at my mother, she was so fragile. Like a rain days, I could not hold my tears, and I started crying and crying and crying. My mother was open and closing her eyes, but she can feel that something was different with her son. And I closed my eyes, and tears was going all over. Then I felt somebody who touched me. And when I opened my eye, my fogging eyes, I couldn't believe it. My mother was distant, about 6 feet distant. How she got where I was? She crawled with her hands and knees to send a message to me. She tried to tell me, calm down. And I went down on my knees. And this was the first time that my mother said something to me. Can I call you my son? I told her, I'm your son. You brought me here to know Jesus Christ. I came in the name of forgiveness. And she told me, can I do something that I never did to you? I said, what? Can I kiss you? I said, of course. I turned my cheek close to her lips. It was a weak kiss, but I felt her lips. And then I heard the cry, forgive me, my son. And tell God to forgive me for what I had done to you. And there my mother literally gave her heart to Jesus. And these eyes of mine, I know that my mother suffered. I know that she was trapped by the devil. I knew that my father was a strong man and was strong with her. But here my mother is so weak, and now I saw with my very eyes. I witnessed this. The Spirit of the Lord came upon my mother, shook her body, and my mother gave her heart to Jesus Christ, and my mother instantly was healed, and she lived for 25 years and 7 months longer. You guys, sons, your dad and mom, if you hurting, you are not standing by yourself. You are not alone. Jesus is here to embrace you and to kiss your pains. Shall we pray? Shall we pray? Where's the guys, the music and all of this? Come on, you guys. What you doing over there? You should be right now. You know we're coming to the end. And what you laughing? What are you laughing at? What's the matter with you? They are the best. I'm serious. They are the best. Father, in this moment, I want to thank you for being here with my brother Mike and Bonnie, Lord. I have done my very best. I have poured out my heart. I have been chopped up inside. I understand the areas of pain because I suffered since I was a little boy. But I can honestly tell you that I experienced the joys of my Lord like never that day when I gave my heart to you, sweet Jesus. And you love me. You forgive me. And you put your Spirit in my life. And this is what I'm doing. Jesus, I have been vulnerable with these people. I have opened all my heart. I have put my heart in their hands. I did my very best. I ask you for a miracle. For those who really are hurting and they're coming to a place in their life that they cannot hold anymore, their tears and the suffering, the afflictions, and the loneliness, the anguish. Please. If there's any place in my vocabulary, if there's any place that I can say, please, touch those who hurting right now. Kiss their pains away. Let it be a day of salvation. Knocking the door of their hearts. Bring the family into a relationship with you, Jesus. Those lonely ladies, embrace them, Jesus. Those single mom and dad, minister today. And those that have been rebellious, those children, let them know that's a time when you can come in and take that rebellious spirit out of their chest and mind and heart. I want to do this for Jesus, for you, Jesus. Oh, yes. Because this is the way I pray when I'm alone with my wife. Just like this. I'm going to ask you for a favor. Don't let anybody leave this place. Don't let nobody walk through those exits without giving you a chance. Don't let the pride get in between, because more punishment is going to be in their heart and soul. Come, sweet Jesus. Come. Minister to those who are hurting. Minister to their hearts and sin in their life. Give them the courage to stand up for you, Jesus.